I'm going to read to you the 11th part of my 2019 screenplay. I'm at an appointment with Dr. Natural. Andrew says to Dr. Natural, "Sunday is Easter. I usually go to my grandmother's on my father's side of the family. I go to her house in the morning, but I hate going." Dr. Natural says a lot of people hate going to their relatives. I say, "You don't understand. The whole thing is a farce. I barely know my grandmother and anyone on that side of the family. We only see each other on holidays. No one likes each other. They're all fighting." He asks, "Even your dad?" I say, "My dad takes a million pictures the entire time, but he's living a double life. He keeps most of his life secret from me. In fact, most of the relatives have died and he's never even told me." Dr. Natural says, "Wow, that's horrible." I say, "Poppy often sings the professional wrestler Edge's theme song incorrectly. He says, 'You don't know me,' like you think you know me, you don't know me." And this makes me angry. I share everything with him, and he tells me close to nothing about his life. Maybe it's predicate logic, but I feel like he's mocking me that I don't know him or his life. Dr. Natural says, "Then don't see him." I say, "My dad makes me very uncomfortable. If you try to weasel your way out of going," and my mother says, we need him for his money. She tells me, "Just go." She says it's free food, and my grandmother makes good pierogies, but it's all narrative. She's in her 90s and she barely cooks anymore. The montage begins. The mom says, "Just go on Easter. Your grandmother makes good pierogies." She says it a million times throughout the week. When we're in the car together, a day later, "Just go. Your grandmother makes good pierogies." When we're at the supermarket, 3 days later, "Just go. Your grandmother makes good pierogies." A week later, when we're at the beach, "Just go. Your grandmother makes good pierogies." At dinner before the Dr. Natural appointment, "Just go. Your grandmother makes good pierogies," and so on and so on. I finally scream, "Okay, I'll go on Easter." The montage ends. Back to the Dr. Natural appointment. I'm not sure why my mom wants me to go so much, but it's like Catholic hypocrisy. My grandmother has never been involved in my life, has never given me much money, but she goes to church every Sunday. I don't know my grandmother that much, and I don't even really want to go to her funeral. Dr. Natural says, "I don't even really know what to say." I say, "Yeah, it's awful. And there are relatives I barely know. Some of them I don't even know how they're related to me. Seriously, I have no clue. And they don't know who I am either. Every year I'm called by the wrong name, and they ask me the most uncomfortable questions. For example, when I was 23 years old, I never had a girlfriend. They'd ask me about my dating life, and I'd get so uncomfortable. Every single year I'd be forced to say, "No, I've never had a girlfriend." But they don't stop there. They say things like, "You're so good looking. The girls are probably all over you." I would have to explain how I'm focusing on my academics, but a girl will come. Half serious, I say to Dr. Natural, "It was so great when I finally got to say, 'I have a girlfriend.'" I was so proud. Dr. Natural says, "That must have been a very proud moment." I say, "Oh, it was. But now they ask, 'Where are you working?' And that makes me uncomfortable. They keep pressing and pressing. I don't know what to say. I usually try to dodge the question. Sometimes I'll say I'm working in marketing, hoping the subject will drop, but they'll continue questioning me, pressing for information. I have no clue how to answer the questions, and my story falls apart. So this is a montage with Uncle Matthew. I see Uncle Matthew approaching, who I haven't seen in years. I try to run away, but our eyes lock, and I have no choice but to talk with him. He says, "Andrew, long time no see." I say, "Nice to see you, Uncle Matthew. What have you been up to?" He says, "Work, that thing." He laughs. He says, "Where have you been working?" I say, "I just graduated from college and I work in marketing." Uncle Matthew asks, "What's the name of the company you work for?" Thinking quickly, I say, 1-800-Flowers. He says, "What exactly do you do?" Feeling panicked, I answer phones, I do social media, I market products, things like that. Uncle Matthew asks, "What town is it in?" I say, I'm working in the city." He says, "Where in the city?" I say, "New York City." Uncle Matthew asks, "Do you know Jacob Richardson? He works in the Midtown Manhattan office." I say, "I mean Long Island City." Uncle Matthew says, so you don't work in Manhattan? I say, no. Uncle Matthew becoming confused. He asks, do you even work in marketing? I'm like, no. And I walk away with my head down, embarrassed and ashamed, and the montage ends. And I say, as you can see, Dr. Natural, I don't want to go because I'm exposed.